So now let's move on to the fourth item that can shift the entire demand curve. The fourth item that can shift the entire demand curve is expectations. Expectations. People buy more if they know the demand will increase. Oh, if they know the price will increase, sorry. If we know property will increase in price, we buy it today. We buy it today based on the expectation that we expect the price to go up in future. Okay, number 5, so this is an easy one. Number 5, number of consumers or population. Number of consumers or population. A change in number of consumers, a change in number of consumers can shift the entire demand curve. So, for example, if population decreases, less demand for houses. Right? If there are not going to be enough people to live in the houses, nobody's going to buy them, right? So these are the 5 shifters of demand. These 5 things can shift the entire demand curve. You have to know it. Please know it. Know it for your quiz. So far, this is it for, actually, let's touch bases with supply. So this was the shifters of demand. We're going to start talking about supply now. So what is supply? A positive increasing slope. That's what supply looks like, which shows that as price increases, quantity supply, quantity also increases. Other things constant. So law of supply says that as price increases, quantity supply also increases, other things constant. Why is it that when price increases, supply increases? Well, remember we said that supply is based on sellers. When price increases, sellers want to make more money. So they start supplying more. It's an incentive to produce more. What does it look like? Quantity supply are specific points on the supply curve. So this is supply, this is your price, your quantity, this is 0. For $1, quantity supply was here. When price went up to $10, quantity supply, the specific points on the supply curve, increased to here. And this is Q2. So quantity supply increased when price increased. Remember, quantity is increasing this way. At $0, there is no supply. Zero supply at $0. At $1, there's one quantity supplied. At $10, there is, So at $1, let's say that one person is supplying. At $10, we can say 10 people are supplying. So just like a change in price changes quantity supply, specific points on the supply curve, quantity supply can increase or decrease. It could decrease like this or increase, keeping other things constant. But what happens when other things are not constant? We're going to talk about shifters of supply. So there are shifters of supply that can shift the entire curve in or out. But before we talk about that, let's talk about reservation price. So reservation price for supply is your minimum willingness to sell. So reservation price for supply is your minimum willingness to sell. Think about it. You don't want to sell a product that you own unless you're getting a good price for it. So the price you're receiving has to be greater than your minimum willingness to sell, or how much you think your product is worth. So the price you're getting has to be greater than, so the price you are getting has to be greater than your minimum willingness to sell, or how much you think the product is worth. Also called your reservation price. Also called reservation price. when price increases and it exceeds the reservation price, more products are supplied. Supply increases because sellers have an incentive to make money, right? Now, one thing again to keep in mind is that when price changes, quantity demand and quantity supply change. It doesn't shift. Supply and demand doesn't shift. Just quantity demand and quantity supply changes. So any change in price will increase or decrease quantity supply or increase or decrease quantity demand, points on the demand curve. Supply and demand does not shift because of a change in price. They only shift when other things are not constant. So I will list the shifters of supply in next lecture. This is good for now. See you guys. Questions on the thread. Bye.